well, let me start by saying the defense has had these photographs since March. For them to come out recently saying there's no indication that the duct tape that was found over Kaylee's mouth, which is that, is similar to the duct tape that was found on the gas can, how would you characterize that kind of a statement knowing that they've had this tape since March?
Well, it's very disingenuous, and it certainly affects the defense credibility. And if you see the defense making these types of statements in front of a jury, they're going to quickly lose credibility with the jury, and there's not going to be any doubt that she's going to be convicted of these charges. And
just from the court of public opinion, which is what is the only court that's being held right now, pretty much, is it the same situation again where as they make outrageous statements like that, when you see the facts contradict the statements that they're making, it backfires on her again, doesn't it? Because their explanations aren't reasonable, and then you think, well, why would they make unreasonable explanations? Well, because they might be desperate, or they might have no other alternative.
Well, absolutely. When you make these types of statements that obviously we now know to be untrue, it only damages the defense credibility in the court of public opinion, and what it does is it causes you to question why they would do this, and it leads you to the conclusion that they are desperate and grasping at straws. And again, it just causes them to lose credibility.
It looks like they have nothing. They have nothing solid, so they instead have to talk about this stuff, which again and again we end up getting information that shows that they were wrong, and they already had this information when they were putting whatever they were putting out there.
This defense has always been like the shifting sands of the desert. It just seems to change with whatever is released by way of evidence, and there's not any uniformity. And now we're just finding more and more that the statements that they make regarding the evidence isn't true. It makes them look desperate, and it makes them look untruthful, none of which is to Casey Anthony's benefit.
The pictures of the tape themselves, what effect do you think seeing that tape that was over Kaylee's mouth and the condition that it's in, most of the adhesive washed away, all, if not all, I have to go back and look at the report, but I believe it said there was none of the adhesive of the tape itself was still there. Now you can understand, well, that's a different issue, but what effect do you think that'll have on a jury just looking at that tape?
We have discussed before that this isn't going to be the jury listening to some forensic scientist telling them what they're supposed to see. They're going to be able to actually look and see themselves at the remarkable preservation of this Hinkle logo, which is unique to this particular tape, which hasn't been manufactured in a long period of time. It is going to be dramatic, and it's going to be damning for the defense when the jurors look at this. And from a psychological standpoint, by the way, they're going to envision this tape over that child's mouth and nose with the testimony of a heart-shaped sticker, and it's just going to be devastating for the defense.
And bringing up this outline of adhesive in a perfect shape of a heart that they noticed, I found several documents in the documents released today that document, if you will, the finding of that perfectly heart-shaped adhesive on the top of the duct tape, on the shiny side. And it's been documented in several documents, and in fact one says that I told somebody else about that. So there's not just one person who saw it or was aware of it back at the time that it was seen before it was destroyed by the fingerprinting, and how important is that adhesive to the whole case, and B, how much does it hurt or help to have other documentation and other people aware of that before they ended up destroying it through the fingerprint
It's a significant piece of evidence, both from a factual standpoint and from a psychological standpoint, that there was this heart-shaped sticker placed on the adhesive. It doesn't bode well for the defense. Certainly, multiple individuals having witnessed this perfect shaped heart adhesive on the tape cuts off the defense argument that A, it was manufactured, or B, that it was just in the mind of one person who happened to see it, and that's what they construed that they saw. The more individuals that saw it, the more credibility it gives that, yes, it was there, no, it wasn't manufactured, and it was in the shape of a perfect heart